Right, here are 3 ways to stop buzz on our guitar. So sometimes we have a buzz that comes from a bit of a loose string around here, and you can chop these off, or you might have a bit of a loose string down the end here. But these are ways that we can affect it with our fingers. Now when we're fretting a note, when we're holding down our finger on a note, the most obvious one when we get a buzz and it sounds like this is because we're not squeezing hard enough, and we just need to squeeze a bit harder with your thumb, using your thumb on the back of the neck like that. Just squeeze a bit harder and the sound will go from a buzzy sound to a nice clear sound. Another thing we can do is the position of our finger on the fret. So if our finger is down towards the bottom end of the fret, you get this, a lot of buzz there, but the best place for tone when we're fretting the guitar is just below the fret line. These are the fret lines here, the actual bits of metal. So we go just below, and you don't need to push that hard to get a really nice clear sound. But whereas if I slide it down here, you'll hear the buzz creeping in. It's not always possible to play up the top of the fret, especially if we're holding a chord. So if I'm holding an A chord, for example, you might be able to see my fingers. You'll see that my first finger is right in the middle of the fret, which is still okay, but you can sort of tuck the fingers slightly underneath each other to get a nicer sound, just as long as one of the fingers doesn't end up going towards the back end of the fret, and then you'll still get that buzz. Another way that often is buzzes happen is when one of our fingers is touching a string that it's not supposed to. And it could be one of our fingers, one of the fleshy bits of our fingers, or it could be a bit of our hand as well. So sometimes if we're holding down a chord here, a bit of our hand might be touching a string. And as soon as anything is touching a string that we don't want it to, it's going to stop the sound of the string, or at least deaden it, or make a buzz. So the ways we can stop this is you want to have just a little bit of a gap between your hand and the neck of the guitar when we're holding down a chord. So if your hand is touching it like that, then you're going to be touching a string that you don't want to. Another way is some people play with their fingers flattened like this. And there are lots of ways to play the guitar, but if we want to play the A string, you can hear that that is deadened. So the thing to do is to use the tip toe of your finger. I say this all the time to my students. So rather than playing like this, we turn that right up like that. Then you've got a really clear point to press the string. And if we're hearing something like this, then I just tiptoe my second finger on that G chord. And then we've got, now if that was down the bottom end of the frets, we'd have the buzzes. We put them up right towards the top end of the frets, on their tiptoes, give it a nice squeeze, not too much. And as we're learning the guitar, we will get lines in our fingers, but in no time at all your fingers toughen up, and you can play for a lot longer. Cheers.